This is the penultimate round of the 2015 Bridgestone 4x4 Club Challenge, and this is Mokgatle, one of the so-called terror 4x4 trails in South Africa. Situated near Brits in the Northwest Province, Mokgatle is renowned as an extremely tough four-wheeling venue, with obstacles such as Koerse Klim providing plenty of oh my greatness moments. Thankfully, the Club Challenge organisers had decided to steer well clear of the really dangerous obstacles and instead create a challenging technical track for the 31 remaining 4x4 teams. In this round, there were 18 entries in the long wheelbase class and 13 shorties. In the overall point standings, there were two clear leaders in each class. In the long wheelers, former champion Danny Daniels and co-driver Rob Wallace had a handy lead, but any significant slip-ups or mechanical issues puts a number of other teams in contention for overall honours. In the shorty class, it was all Dani and Daniel Tate in the little Suzuki SJ413, who were having a splendid year, rarely putting a wheel out of place. Only a small miracle would prevent the Suzuki crew from winning the class and the challenge overall. A major complication for the teams on this day, though, was a heat wave, and we're not talking 35 degrees Celsius here, more like 45 degrees. So on that hot note, and with the driver's briefing and safety checks done and dusted, the teams head out for some hot-blooded 4x4 action. Here we go. We headed straight for obstacle 3, where there is absolutely nothing straight about the 4x4 test that awaited the teams. This is a nasty axle twister business with slippery climbs and a tight turn. And this is Clinton and Bernice Kruger in a Suzuki Jimny with no locking front or rear differentials. It's not the kind of obstacle a stock Jimny likes very much.
Oh. Roll back.
No, it's fine.
Wys net vir hulle daar.
Sien, ek net 'n klein bietjie van hom gegaan.
Nie te vinnig hier oor nie asseblief.
Ja, nee, ek weet.
Drie stoppe, 3 rol weg.
Ons moet daai vorm opvat. Okay.
No siree, the Jimny isn't hauling itself over that little mountain today. So Clinton takes an alternative route. But then, oh dear, he's now embedded one very traumatized pole in his Suzuki's undercarriage. And so for the next 10 minutes, Operation Save the Pole follows, with the marshals, Bernice and Clinton doing their best to extract the pole from the innards of the 4x4. And finally, after much effort, the Jimny was free. But that was a 0-pointer for the Jimny team. On a much bigger scale is Rian and Michelle Kutsia's Toyota Hilux. It does have a rear diff lock, but compared to the tiny Jimny, it will be like trying to dock a cruise ship at a mooring on Hartbeespoort Dam. Let's see how Rian and Michelle go. Yep, so the Hilux got through okay, but it took out 4 poles in the process, so that's another 0. Right, so here's another Jimny, and this one is piloted by Flip Koerse, and Flip has traditionally believed that a heavy right foot fixes all the problems in the world. So let's see how far he gets. The Jimny gets through okay, in the end, but Flip took out a couple of poles there, and he also had that rollback, so that's 45 points earned, and that is the highest score so far.
Poles seem to be too close. They're not narrow, but they're too close. There's no space to move.
Obstacle 5 is a long one, with deep ruts, tight turns, and plenty of wheel lifting action. Or that's the theory anyway. This is Vaughan Ashford in his Nissan Hardbody V6, with Noel Jones out on spotting duty. Let's see how the Datsun team fares.
Go, fast! Hit it! No more!
Oh dear, so that's just 40 points for the long hardbody.
Ish.
This is Volley Volmerans and Teeny Mini in a Jeep Cherokee. While lining up at the start, Volley forgets all about his window, which should be closed almost all the way for safety reasons. Luckily for him, he finds the marshal in a rather good mood, and he gets a chance to close that window. Right, so with all the safety checks in place, let's ride with the Jeep.
Okay. Hou hom reguit. Gaan hier verby. Hy wil nie draai nie. Hou hom maar hier hoog. Hou hom hoog, so. Hoog. Oeps. Okay, draai. Ek kan maar daar onder toe gaan.
Time to head for the shops as the teams head for a lunch break. When we return, the very hot action continues unabated at the Mokgatli 4x4 track. Right, so we're back at the Mokgatli 4x4 track near Brits, in the middle of a heat wave with the temperature hovering around the 45 degrees Celsius mark. This is Obstacle 6, and this is Andrew Linnington and Eric van Oppel in a Land Rover Defender Puma. This obstacle features a very short but very steep and tricky climb. In the past, Andrew's been known to prefer the when in doubt floor it method, so let's see how he does here. So that didn't work out so well, but I think Andrew has a cunning plan and it involves his right foot. That's more like it. And that's 65 points in the bank.
Well, we got stuck halfway, but then we gave it a bit more juice and it charged over everything.
And here are Danny Daniels and Rob Wallace in the point-leading Jeep Grand Cherokee. Let's see how the former champion handles this little hill. Ach no man, Danny, that's not how the script's supposed to go. Anyway, down goes the Grand Cherokee for a more substantial turn of speed. Ready, set, go. Yes, that's more like it. And that's 85 points for the Jeep team. Meanwhile, at Obstacle 1, Jaco Hanekom and Mornay Leach were tackling the narrow, rutted business in their long Toyota Hilux. So that's just one pole killed dead, and it's a 75 points for the big Toyota. Jaco and Mornay went on to do a great job at Mokgatli, finishing second overall in the long wheelbase class. This is Henry and Alta Barnes in their purple Suzuki Jimny called Barney. Henry and Alta are all focus and no words as they start this test. And that's a cool 100 points for Barney. Henry and Alta went on to finish third in the short wheelbase class for the day. This is Obstacle 2, and here are Clinton and Bernice Kruger in their brave little Suzuki Jimny. This obstacle has deep ruts and slippery sandy stuff. Let's see how Clinton and Bernice handle this challenge.
Wow.
Yes, sirree. If you tackle the obstacle at 60 k's an hour, you can go anywhere. How did that go, Clinton?
Yeah, I was quite surprised how the Jimny reacted on this obstacle. I didn't expect it that it picked up so high, but unfortunately it happened.
Now here's an obstacle with a difference, as Danny Daniels and Rob Wallace will now demonstrate in their Jeep Grand Cherokee. Teams start this obstacle in front of their vehicles. They then have to connect the tow strap with two large truck tires attached to the back of their vehicle with a bow shackle. Next they jump in, hook up the safety belt and go for a bit of a drive between poles and through some soft river sand. Once they've completed the course, they have to stop again, switch the vehicle off, jump out and disconnect the shackle from their vehicle. And they have to do all of this in the 45-degree heat. Yep, it's just another lovely day in the African bush. This is Wimpy and Rita Olified. Wimpy, who's a big man, drives a souped-up Suzuki Jimny, which is a small car with a small 1.3-litre engine. So let's see how Wimpy and Rita go here. Taking out the pole at the first gate didn't help much, and that's 65 points scored. It was nevertheless an impressive towing performance from the little 4x4. On that speedy note, time to head to the shops again. On the other side, a Jeep man gets rather animated. A Speedkorp goes mountain climbing, and we find out who won this tough round of the Bridgestone 4x4 Club Challenge. This is the Bridgestone 4x4 Club Challenge, and this is the Mogatli 4x4 trail in the Northwest Province. This is obstacle 8, and it's a reversing business between the poles. Our first customers are Peter Gundlach and Peter Smit, who are in a Suzuki Jimny with a rear locker.
Is it voorbij? Kom aan! Stop net! Daar is onder. Hierin is voorbij.
Altijd even voorbij hier.
Sorry. 5
Nee.
Oh no, the marshal may have blown his whistle a dab too quickly there, and that's 50 points in the bank. At least the Suzuki lad seemed, well, happy.
Oké, ons gaan Piet.
Yes.
Ah! Ah!
Ruan and Nico Kaiser are next in their Landy pickup TDI. Teenager Ruan won the long wheelbase class at the previous round, and he's clearly got some skills behind the wheel. So let's see how he goes here. And that's 2 poles taken out, so that's 50 points for the Landy crew. Sean Niemand and Chart Skierpers are next in the Jeep Wrangler TJ. This should be entertaining.
Sorry. Check net vir my laat ek verby is as ek begin draai, hoor. Okay. Daar is verby. Altyd verby. Ag nee man. Krijg nog een kans. 50 punten, ja. Goed. Kom maar, hij gaat. 50 punten. The Jeep's doing its job, the driver's not doing his job, the navigator's doing his job, so all in all it's not a complete package.
This is obstacle 10, and it's a long, steep and slippery story with some narrow gates thrown in for good measure. Getting the momentum just right will be the secret here. This is Speedkop Willem Joubert and his dad, also Willem, in the passenger seat. It's easy, Willem. Just pretend you're chasing a rogue taxi through the traffic, man. And away they go. See? That's an easy 75 points in the bank. These are defending champions Jaco and Karen van Sale in Jaco's classic Series 2 Land Rover that has less power and clearance than a Suzuki Jimny. So far 2015 has not been a great year for the old Landy. Let's hope things are looking up at Mogatli.
Nee man, dat is niet nodig nie.
Ja, jy moet oppas, nou gaan hy hardloop.
Wat so gaan so. Ai. Dis ook slim.
oh dear, is not getting any better for Jaco and Karen. That's a 0 for the champ. 2015 isn't getting any better for the Landy team.
No, the diff met with the ground and yeah, well, I lost. That's it.
Chart and Adele Prinsloo have also had a pretty tough time in 2015, failing to complete a number of tough climbs. So I'm not holding my breath here. By Jove, they've actually made it. Well done. On that high note, time for some prizes. The Bridgestone Club Challenge teams can win some really awesome prizes this year. In the eliminator rounds, the top teams win only points because the really big prizes will be in the game in the final event. Overall winners in both short wheelbase and long wheelbase classes will receive a set of Bridgestone tyres as well as a Trick Tough Dog suspension upgrade, courtesy of Opposite Lock. Second place will win an LED light bar and Snowmaster fridge, and third place an Opposite Lock tyre repair kit and a Melville and Moon seat cover. Several smaller accessory prizes will also be up for grabs for the top 10 prizes in each class. To the winners then, and in the short wheelbase class, it was yet again Dani and Daniel Tate in the little Suzuki SJ that dominated proceedings with an amazing score of 930 points. And in a carbon copy of the results of the previous round, former champ Danny Daniels and co-driver Rob Wallace in the Jeep Grand Cherokee took the honours in the long wheelbase class with 845 points. Next week, it's final time, as the top 30 teams tackle some really tough tracks at the Base 4 and Henops off-road trail near Harties. Will anyone be able to stop the marauding little Suzuki SJ and the all-conquering Jeep Grand Cherokee? Tune in next week to find out. Ta-ra!